Senator Shehu Sani represented Kaduna Central District at the National Assembly and is currently a member of the People Democratic Party. Earlier this week, he called on President Muhammadu Buhari to restore peace to Kaduna before leaving office. Senator Sani now joins us from Abuja to discuss his clarion call on security and the build-up to the 2023 general elections. We would like to welcome you to the program this afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us. Now let's get right in.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Let's get right into the discussion about insecurity. We have situations popping up all over the country, particularly in Kaduna, where your area of interest is. And I want to link it to a larger discussion of insecurity within West Africa, as we see that coups are springing up in a couple of countries, 18 months in a stretch. Can you give us your opinions on how to ease insecurity within the nation, or some strategies that the president can adopt before he leaves office?
Well, thank you again for having me. Well, first of all, it is important that we understand the peculiar nature of insecurity in different parts of the country. The parts of the country I come from is the northwestern part of Nigeria. And to the knowledge of everyone, bandits have become a state within a state. They have become an authority. They are moving away from being terrorists to now becoming a state. A state in the sense that it is no more about raiding villages, killing people, and extorting ransom, but they have moved to the point of imposing levies and fines to innocent villagers, at the same time also installing their local chiefs and even their local imams. So to me, I believe that this is a very serious issue that must be tackled now, because they are becoming more daring. It is no more the people in rural areas that are unsafe, even those of us living in the cities. You can't move a kilometer or two outside of Kaduna in any time after 7 without getting yourself in the hands of these bandits. And making it worse, states like Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Niger State, many parts of that states are virtually under the control of these bandits. What can the president do? There is no doubt about it. We cannot fight the 21st century security challenge with a 20th century strategy. The use of technology to track down these terrorists is very important. They need to organize the villagers as vigilantes, because we have them, and fund them and support them to take up action against the terrorists is very important. We can't continue to give marching orders, calling all sorts of meetings by the president, and nothing is happening. Our people in the villages are in a dilemma. If they cooperate with the security forces, they face the wrath of the terrorists. If they cooperate with the terrorists, they face the wrath of the security forces. So where can we go from here? For the remaining couple of months, or a year plus for the president, he has a duty. He said he promised to leave behind a secure country. Well, we're all praying to see that magic. But so far, for now, bandits are holding sway. Despite declaring them terrorists, is that they have become more daring. You are not safe anywhere. Even the military, they attack military barracks, they attack police stations, they abduct soldiers, abduct policemen. Where do we go from here? In the 21st century, why can't we have drone stations that will detect where these terrorists are, supply the necessary information for our security forces for them to move in? This is the situation which we are in now, and if care is not taken, they are getting more and more recruits, and thereby undermining the peace and stability of our country.
Senator Sani, you've just painted a grim picture on crime in Kaduna, and you also focused on the efforts of the president. But I'd like your thoughts on the current governor, Nasir El-Rufai's efforts so far on banditry and terrorist activities in Kaduna. How proactive is this, you think, or otherwise?
Well, there are things a governor of a state can do, one of which is he can air his opinion, and secondly, he can do something. What is it a governor of a state can do? The governor of a state can use security votes to equip and supply all the necessary equipment that security forces need in his state. We can't say because the police, the civil defense, the army are on the exclusive control of the federal government, and then you fold your arms and do nothing. The questions you need to ask yourselves: have you supported them with operational vehicles? Have you supported them with communication gadgets? Have you been able to beef off their finances with support you can complement it from your own very side? These are issues that need to be done. And again, for people who organize themselves as vigilantes in villages to defend their villages and also to go on the offensive against these terrorists, how much have you supported them for them to do that? Kaduna to Abuja is about 140 kilometers. There are about 37 villages there. It is expected that the governors of Kaduna and Niger and the FCT should sit down, map out these local governments, invite the village, map out these villages, invite the villagers, see how the youths of those villages can be enlisted into the civil defense and the police, and then return back to their bases for them to take action. But what is happening now is virtually the governors are simply saying they don't control security agencies and they're folding their arms. And terrorists are simply having a field day. They decide who they want to kill, they decide who they want to spare. In the last 2 to 3 days, the southern Kaduna has been completely under siege. Villages are attacked, they are burn down villages, they rape women, they kill as many people as they want. And it has reached a point now, villagers are more or less cooperating with the terrorists than even with our security agencies. There was a statement recently by the governor of Niger State where he said the people in rural areas do inform these terrorists whenever security forces are coming. But the fact remains, the bandits or the terrorists are more entrenched in rural areas than our security forces. It is not disappreciating the effort of our security forces, but the fact that more needs to be done. For now, our people are at the mercy of terrorists, and governors are virtually doing nothing. Even if they are doing anything, the issue is that it's not protecting our people.
Well, Senator Sani, speaking of supporting our forces and our government having their hands tied behind their back for one reason or another, what is your opinion on state security? We know that our president has been against it. It is a large conversation. I just want you to discuss whether or not this is something that could be possible.
Well, you see, we need to do whatever we need to do to protect our country, to defend our people, and to secure our own society. But what is happening is that even the conventional federal police and federal security agencies have not been optimally doing what they need to do. That does not mean we are not grateful and doesn't appreciate the sacrifices made by so many of them, but it's unimaginable that a nation of over 211 million people, a power in the sub-region, one that has a history of intervention in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in Congo, and has performed well in other countries. We can't secure our country. What is happening in this country? We need to ask these questions here. Establishing a state police comes with its own merits and demerits. The positive side of it, perhaps, you will have a police where the governor can control and he can direct and instruct at any time, which is good for security. But our own problem is the fact that governors are most likely going to use these agencies to pursue political enemies, prosecute people, and use it to simply bolster their own political base. Many of those who are going to be recruited are most likely going to be the political thugs of the governor and others. So that is our own very fear. But I am of the belief that a governor of a state can still support, fund, and equip the security agencies that are within his own domain. Look at what is happening recently. When the president visited Kaduna, there was no much security challenge because there was heavy investment in security and because of his own visit. But after he has left, the terrorists are back. So why don't we use the same forces that we use to secure our own state during elections, to secure our own state during wedding ceremony and birthday ceremonies of important political elites, to secure our state when the president is visiting? Why don't we use the same strategy to protect our people? People are being slaughtered, people are being burned, villages are being razed, people are being exterminated by terrorists, and then the question is, where is the government in all this?
In view, a good question, Senator Sani, but you are also joining the race for governorship election in 2023. So what do you think you can do to change the current narratives from the negative perception we're having about crime and terror activities in the region so far?
Well, you see, I believe that the situation we find ourselves as a country today place the importance of security before any other thing. And one of which I intend to do as a governor of Kaduna State is to see how I can involve the people in the security architecture of the state. Involving the people means that villages and towns must organize themselves and must be supported by security agencies to go after these terrorists. Security agencies must be well equipped. We must provide operational vehicles and communication equipment, and we must have a system of information gathering and information sharing. This is very important. I am going to be the chief security officer of my state, and I'm going to make sure that terrorists in southern Kaduna, terrorists in central Kaduna, terrorists in northern part of Kaduna don't have a field day as they used to do now. It's not about beautifying cities and building roads and then installing street lights when people cannot sleep, when people cannot move around, when people cannot travel from state to state. We can't build this country in any way. We can't prosper as a nation if our people are slaughtered at this scale. Look at the statistics. The official statistics said over 1,000, about 900 and something people were killed just in 2021 alone. This scale of killings, of massacre, has not been recorded in Yemen, in Somalia, in Libya, and in Afghanistan. There is nowhere in the world where people are being massacred and killed as in Nigeria, and particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. We are worse than Libya, worse than Somalia, worse than Afghanistan, worse than any place where war and battle is taking place now in this country, in the whole world. So we need to secure our people first before any other thing, and that will be my priority.
Well, we sincerely hope that things go well for you, and we can't wait to see for you to implement some of those strategies to make our nation just that much better. Thank you so much for joining the discussion this afternoon, Senator Shehu Sani. We hope to welcome you back sometime soon.